Let's talk a little bit first about the FDA's move yesterday with hydroxychloroquine. What does this mean, and I guess why are they taking this action now?
Well, they pulled the emergency use authorization, which had granted authorization to use the drug in a hospitalized setting, and they were collecting information at the same time that that drug was being used in those circumstances. So the authorization wasn't for the drug to be used as an outpatient. Now, mind you, this is a drug that's available and on the market, so doctors can make a decision to use it off-label anyway. But by pulling the emergency use authorization, it's effectively an acknowledgement by the FDA that it no longer meets the statutory burden, which means the agency doesn't have enough evidence to support the drug's use in that setting. There's been a number of studies now that have come out that haven't shown a benefit. Some have shown a harm. There's a number of randomized studies underway. The FDA might have gotten an early look at some of the data out of those randomized studies, and that might have tipped their hand in terms of making this decision, as well as the information that it now could potentially interfere with the activity of remdesivir, a directly acting antiviral that we know does work against coronavirus. And so the fact that it could interfere with the drug that's otherwise been demonstrated to be effective, that might have also tipped the agency's hand.
How dangerous do you think it could be, or is this something where, look, we just don't think it's effective, and the downside is it could even make something like remdesivir less effective?
Yeah, that's basically the complexion of this. I mean, the drug does have known side effects, so we understand the safety profile of the drugs. In a setting where it's not delivering any benefit and it can only deliver harm, it no longer makes sense to have it available to encourage its use. Especially in the setting of critically ill patients, the side effects could become more manifest. It has cardiac toxicity associated with it. It can cause irregular heartbeats. But in the setting of a critical care patient, a very sick patient in the hospital, those side effects could be more manifest. So against the backdrop where they don't have evidence that it's effective in this setting, that's enough for the agency to pull this. It no longer meets what we would consider the statutory burden, the legal burden of demonstrating some benefit in this setting.
Does that mean that all of the studies that have been taking place will now end?
Well, the two studies that people have been waiting for, there's two randomized studies underway. The researchers have taken interim looks. And so if the drug was causing a lot of harm and wasn't causing any benefit against those harms, they probably would have stopped those studies early. But that doesn't mean that the studies are going to read out positively. So those studies, my guess is they'll continue because I think they're almost done or they're completed. That's why I think the agency may have had an early look at some of that data, and that could be what tipped their hand, what forced the decision from the agency yesterday.